Number 3, at the Reformation, the battle cry, especially the Reformed, was, "To God be the glory," and God's glory was ever before them. That is, that the vision before the Reformers was that they were willing, this is why they were willing to die, they were willing to fight, they were willing to commit, they were willing to shed their own blood. This is why they did not quit when they had every reason to quit. It's because they had the glory of God before their eyes. They self-consciously had the glory of God before their eyes. So the church had become distorted, you can say, in one sense, that the glory of the message of the gospel is Jesus. And as we said in Sunday school, right? Jesus, his incarnation, his ministry, his suffering, his death, his burial, his resurrection, and then his ascension. That's the glory of the gospel. That's the glory of the message that we read of. And in the 16th century, for instance, people were being taught slogans such as soon as the coin in the coffer rings, the soul from purgatory springs. That is the idea of indulgences. And I'm not giving a detailed explanation of this, but that the glory of Jesus was being sold for a pot of stew. And they said no. And they said no because God's honor is at stake here and God's glory is at stake, that we may not steal from God's glory, and that we're to glory and give glory to God even in salvation, not on a coin in a coffer ring for sure, but instead to God, to whom be glory and to his Son, and because of his sacrifice. And it's that, but it's even more than that was happening. Not only the glory of God in salvation, that something deeper drove Calvin and those of his ilk, and they became very self-conscious about it, and those around them became very self-conscious, that the goal then of humanity, or the goal then of the faith, or the goal then of the church is not merely the glory of God and man's salvation. Not merely, they're not against that. I'm not arguing against that at all. But it was not merely that, but that, the idea that God's glory would be made manifest in the entire creation. That the entire world would be filled with his glory. And Calvin was more self-consciously aware of this than Luther, and I love Luther. It's not an argument against Luther. So some of the men here, we studied Kuyper and lectures in Calvinism. That's later now in history. So that's 1898, Abraham Kuyper spoke at Princeton. And he says that Calvinism, or I'll just say full-orbed Christianity, right? That it was not merely ecclesiastical and dogmatic, but that it was the rather and higher call to consecrate the cosmos to his glory. To give over to God the entire world, all of his creation. It discovered its high and holy calling to consecrate every department of life and every energy at its disposal to the glory of God. Everything is to be given over to the glory of God. For this reason, God even impressed a religious expression on the whole unconscious nature, on plants, on animals, and also on children. The whole earth is full of his glory, or that is the desire for in our bulletin. For the earth was filled with the knowledge of the glory of the Lord as the waters cover the sea. That seems a little complete.